And now, for your opening act,
I'm completely and mentally stable.
please welcome to the stage the funniest, the wackiest, the most diabolical Star Clown! This zany jokester never shies from a good gag, even at their own expense. But why don't I let them show you what I mean? Noga.
Jesus wept.
Moses' journey was marked by trials and revelations, shaped by the unseen guidance of the void. This ancient, enigmatic entity had taken a particular interest in Moses, sensing the pivotal role he would play in the liberation of his people. As a young man, Moses had grown up in Pharaoh's palace, aware of his Hebrew heritage but conflicted about his place in the world. One day, he witnessed an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave and, in a fit of rage, killed the Egyptian and hid his body in the sand. Word of his deed spread, and Moses fled into the wilderness, fearing for his life. He left all that he knew behind. The void revealed his true self to him, and convinced young Moses to fast and ask a sign of God, remembering Abraham atop the mountains overlooking his home. Moses wandered the desert. By day he would fast in the sun, and at night he would eat to keep himself alive. At night he would continue seeking refuge and contemplating his identity. During his journey, he found himself in Midian, where he was welcomed by Jethro, the priest of Midian, and married Jethro's daughter, Zipporah. For years, Moses lived as a shepherd, tending Jethro's flocks and raising a family. But his heart remained restless, haunted by his past and uncertain of his future. It was during this period of exile that the void discovered a dark presence influencing the events in Egypt, a cursed Cain. Condemned to eternal wandering for the murder of his brother Abel, and marked by a gem forcefully embedded into his forehead by God, as divine retribution, thus making sure Cain would never cause an act of harm towards life again. Cain's spirit had become twisted and malevolent. He had insinuated himself into Pharaoh's court, whispering insidious counsel that fueled Pharaoh's cruelty and oppression of the Hebrews. He often made communion with Lucifer, pledging himself to the evil one. The void, ever watchful, recognized the ancient curse upon Cain and sought to protect Moses from his influence. He called upon two of his most loyal followers, Azazel and Cain's own resurrected brother, Abel. The void sensed that Cain was behind the brutal decrees, including the order to kill all newborn Hebrew boys, which had forced Moses' mother to hide him in the Nile so many years before. One night, as Moses tended his flock near the desert, the void made its presence known. In the stillness of the night, it whispered to Moses, filling his mind with visions and revelations. The void revealed Cain's curse and his malevolent influence over Pharaoh. It showed Moses the suffering of his people and the dark hand guiding their oppression. Determined to confront this evil, Moses returned to Egypt in secret. Under the cloak of night and with the void's guidance, he moved unseen through the land. He witnessed firsthand the harshness of Pharaoh's rule and the despair of his people. And in the shadows of Pharaoh's court, he saw Cain, a spectral figure whispering venomous advice into Pharaoh's ear. The void shielded Moses from Cain's detection, allowing him to gather crucial information. Moses realized that to free his people, he would need to challenge not just Pharaoh, but the ancient curse embodied in Cain. The knowledge weighed heavily on him, but it also steeled his resolve. As he prepared to leave Egypt again, Moses found himself pursued by Pharaoh's guards. The void, ever his protector, guided his steps through hidden paths and safe havens, ensuring his escape. When Moses finally reached the edge of the desert, he looked back at the land of his birth, now fully aware of the dark forces at play. Unsure of what the clear path, and how to avoid an unwanted loss of life, Abel, Azazel, and the void told Moses it was once again time to fast and pray during the day, and seek answers at night. It was after this harrowing escape and the discovery of Cain's sinister influence that Moses found himself at Mount Horeb. There, the burning bush awaited him. As the flames danced and the voice of God called out to him, the void whispered once more, urging Moses to seek answers both within himself and from the divine presence before him. "Moses, Moses," the voice from the bush called. "Here I am," Moses replied, removing his sandals as he approached the holy ground. "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. I have seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard their crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering." Moses, his heart heavy with the knowledge of Cain's influence and the suffering of his people, asked, "Who am I, that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" God replied, "I will be with you. And this will be the sign to you that it is I who have sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain." Still uncertain, Moses questioned further, "What if they do not believe me or listen to me and say, 'The Lord did not appear to you'?" In that moment, the void whispered to Moses, "Let your tongue be as gold, strong and unyielding, yet malleable and precious. Trust in your words, for they carry the weight of destiny." God provided Moses with signs to convince the Israelites and Pharaoh, transforming his staff into a serpent and his hand into leprous white and then back to normal. These signs, combined with the void's blessing of eloquence, emboldened Moses. With a heart fortified by divine assurance and the void's unseen support, Moses set out to confront Pharaoh. He now understood the true scope of his mission, not only to liberate his people but to overcome the ancient curse of Cain that had darkened Pharaoh's heart and guided his hand in oppression.